started to learn about electrochemical energy conversion and storage. We have just started. Last class we have seen what is galvanic cell or electrochemical cell, or what are galvanic cells or electrochemical cells, what are their characteristics, what are their components. Then we stopped at electrolytic cells. What are their components, what are their features, the differences between the electrochemical cells and electrolytic cells. All batteries you can term it as electrochemical cell. What are the key features of an electrochemical cell? Features of electrochemicals. So it may be simple to some people, those who have studied maybe chemistry or engineering chemistry very well, or MSc chemist or physics. This topic, next 2-3 classes will be very fundamental for them. Please pardon with me. So for rest of the people, definitely it requires. What are the key features of electrochemical cell and electrolytic cells? You could recollect something? Some aspects.
Electrochemical cells are spontaneous.
In electrochemical cell, yes, in electrochemical cell, the reactions are spontaneous. So it means they are associated with the negative free energy change by default. And another aspect is the cell potential is always positive. Combination of anode and cathode must give or should give or results in positive potential. Then only it is an electrochemical cell or galvanic cell. There is a little difference between the galvanic cell, voltaic cell and Lagrange cell. Okay. If they are separated, galvanic. You have a porous plug immersed in the same vessel, voltaic cell. Well, it comes from the voltaic pile. You'll be seeing later. Again, Lagrange cell, Daniell cell. So it depends on the salt that is being used. Okay. All have positive potentials. And in principle, these cells can be called as a battery. For example, this Lagrange cell or combination of zinc and copper, zinc immersed in zinc sulfate, copper immersed in copper sulfate, or any other zinc salt or copper salt. If it is connected through the salt bridge or separator or membrane, and if the circuit is connected, the reactions undergoes spontaneously. Zinc undergoes corrosion or zinc undergoes oxidation. Zinc becomes zinc 2 plus, leaving 2 electrons, losing 2 electrons. And on the other hand, these 2 electrons travels through the circuit and reaches the cathode compartment or positive electrode, positive compartment, where it is consumed by, they are consumed by the copper 2 plus, and the copper is deposited on the cathode. And the cell reactions are complete, and you will read 1.1 voltage theoretically. It may be reversed, or depending on the reactions, it may be reversed. So any cell which produces positive potential, whose reactions are spontaneous, you know that spontaneity talks about the free energy change, negative free energy change. So on the other hand, a combination of anode and cathode, if they result in less than 0 voltage, negative potentials, they are not suitable as a battery, or they are not suitable for a battery. But such devices or such cells are also technologically important. The basic electrochemical cell, electrolytic cell is decomposition of water into hydrogen, oxygen. a valuable material one can generate. Hydrogen as a fuel for fuel cell applications or any catalytic applications you can generate by decomposition of water, electrolysis of water, by supplying the suitable potential. For example, water can be decomposed into hydrogen at -1 volt versus normal hydrogen electrode. And the same water can be decomposed at 0.8 voltage into oxygen versus normal hydrogen electrode. So depending on the catalyst, this potential may differ a little bit. Maybe some catalyst may decompose water at low potential or high potential, depending on the catalytic activity. They are also technologically important. What are electrolytic cells? Electro refining. This is where we stopped in the last class. Aluminum, where aluminum was once considered as a precious metal. There is a plenty of bauxite ore, aluminum ore, but there was no process to convert the aluminum oxide into aluminum. It was only carbothermic those days, maybe 5-6 decades before. It was only carbothermic process which was used to refine, convert the oxide into metals. What is carbothermic? Can anyone enlighten this? If you have come across carbothermic. Carbothermic. So it involves carbon and thermal. Using carbon, you do the reduction at a high temperature. That is carbothermic. Al2O3 plus carbon giving rise to aluminum plus CO or CO2 at high temperature. What temperature? 800-900 degree. This was the process used to convert the bauxite into aluminum 50-60 years before utilization of this electro refining. Then electro refining was adopted, so too much aluminum was generated. Eventually the price or no longer aluminum is regarded as a precious metal. Now we know what are precious metals: platinum, gold, silver, iridium, ruthenium, platinum. These are all precious metals. So not only hydrogen generation, electro refining, zinc is made, electro refining of zinc salt into zinc is made. Copper electro refining, very prominent technology. Several ventures, they are doing this electro refining of copper ore into copper metal. Most of the conductors, transmission has some copper in it, apart from aluminum. Okay, anything else you would like to add from the previous class? Make comments, clarifications, suggestions, additions.
Sir, one thing, sir. Sir, that modern terminology for salt bridge, you said membrane, sir. What was the other one, sir?
Modern terminology for the salt bridge is membrane or separator.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Modern terminology for the salt bridge is separator or membrane. In fuel cell, you call it as a membrane. In battery, you call it as a separator. So it is not one single compound. Okay, so it's not one separator or membrane. Depending on the type of the battery or the fuel cell, you need to have a separate separator or different separator or membrane. It is characteristic of the ion mobility. In lithium-ion battery, it is a different separator. PEO, polyethylene oxide, ended with the lithium ion, lithium salt. Whereas in the case of fuel cell application, PEMFC, it is Nafion membrane. Okay, Nafion. So depending on the battery and the fuel cell, the separator or membranes are different. You cannot have, it's not possible to have one separator for all applications because it is specific to ion mobility. In lithium ion battery, it is lithium ion should be allowed. Whereas maybe in the case of lithium air battery, also lithium ion, but in the case of sodium ion battery or sodium air battery, the membrane or separator should allow sodium ion to pass through. And similarly, in alkali fuel cell, OH minus should be passed through, allowed to pass through. So it is characteristic of the device. But the common name is a separator or membrane. Of course, membranes are also used in other places. It need not be made from this polymer or oxide, etc. Zeolite is a well-known membrane used in RO system. Okay, reverse osmosis, either to get the potable water or to treat the dirty water into potable or usable water. Membranes are used. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add anything on this? We'll go ahead. Yes. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the basic schematic view of a galvanic cell or electrochemical cell, which has got three components we have talked about. So today we will see how this 1.1 voltage comes. Some of you may know this. Okay, so those who know, please pardon me. For others, you can follow. So these are the characteristic. Last class we have seen the reactions are spontaneous in electrochemical cell or galvanic cell or voltaic cell. The cell potential is positive and it has got two components, two op cells, anode half cell, cathode half cell. Anode is where oxidation is taking place, loss of electrons oxidation. Cathode is where reduction taking place, gain of electronics reduction. And anode is designated with the negative sign because there is excess of negative charge. And cathode is designated with the positive charge because there is a depletion of the negative sign or negative charge. Electrons are being consumed and it is separated by a salt bridge, and we know that the modern terminology for the salt bridge is separator or membrane. Electrolytic cells, the reactions are not spontaneous, non-spontaneous. It means they are all associated with the positive free energy change. Any process or any reaction associated with the positive free energy change is non-spontaneous. You have to make an effort to make those reactions to occur. And the cell potentials are negative. And these devices are also, as we know, that technologically important, especially for electro refining of metal oxides into metals or chloralkali, hydrogen generation, chloride generation, HCl generation, or anything. So this difference also we have seen in the last class. Okay. So we have seen that whether it is electrochemical cell or electrolytic cell, it has got three components: anode, cathode, electrolyte. How to universally tell acceptable notation, acceptable symbol? Okay. So which is called as cell notation. Any electrochemical cell can be symbolized, can be simplified, so that whoever sees those notation could be able to see what cell it is. Means, so if somebody sees the cell notation, electrochemical cell notation, maybe not only in India, maybe Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, America, Europe, everywhere, they should be able to see what is anode, cathode, etc. So that is the purpose of having this universal cell notations. Usually, so electrochemical cell or galvanic cell, voltaic cells are given with this notation. So to my left, anode, to my right, cathode. And so we need to specify what is anode. For example, I have examples. Generally, I'm talking about now. So we will take a few examples later. So to my left, so anode, to my right cathode. And we know that an electrode is not just a conductor, it should be immersed in an electrolyte, in a solution. Platinum is not an electrode. Platinum in contact with this acid or base is an electrode. Carbon is not an electrode, but carbon in contact with sulfuric acid or KOH or electrolyte, even just water containing some salt is an electrolyte. It's an electrode. Mere conductor is not an electrode. Please remember that. And the very characteristic of the electrode is either it should undergo oxidation reduction or on some reduction oxidation should take place. Then only we can call those conductors as an electrode. Otherwise, it will remain as an conductor. Okay. So anode, then the electrolyte. Both should be separated by a single line, solid line. Similarly, cathode is a solid and is in contact with an electrolyte, and they should be separated by a solid single line. And we know that a cell, electrochemical cell, consists of two half cells, anode compartment, cathode compartment. You can bridge them using a salt bridge. That salt bridge is indicated with a double line, parallel line. Generally, separators are given with the two parallel lines, solid parallel line. So if it is a salt bridge, it is given as a dotted parallel lines. This is the cell notation. Then this indication you may give or you need not give. Anyway, we know that electron will pass through from anode to cathode. This you may give or you need not give. Okay. So this is the key. The strongest oxidizing agent present in the cell always undergo reduction at cathode. Strongest reducing agent present in the cell always undergo oxidation at anode. Okay. So for example, so this is a typical electrochemical cell. Copper is in contact with the copper salt. Zinc is in contact with the zinc salt. Okay, so schematic view, and they can be represented using such cell notation. Zinc in contact with the zinc ion, copper is in contact with the copper ion, and they are separated with a separator. So there is a small distinction. Please remember, parallel solid lines represent membrane or separator. If it is a dotted line, it is a salt bridge. Okay. So this single line is a physical boundary between the electrode and the electrolyte, and this parallel line is a separation of both half cells. So that's what I told. You can indicate flow of electron or you not indicate the flow of electron. If anybody sees this cell notation, they will be able to know what is anode, what is cathode, what is the electrolyte, whether it is salt bridge or membrane, one can know. Not only here, anywhere, universally accepted. This is the cell notation. Even for lead acid battery, you can write such a cell notation. Even for metal hair battery or fuel cell or any electrochemical cell or electrolytic cell, one can write such cell notations, universal cell notations. You will be able to know what is anode, what is cathode, electrolyte, salt bridge, etc. So these are the few examples. So tin 4 plus immersed with the tin. Copper immersed in copper 2 plus. You'll be able to identify what is anode, what is cathode, electrolyte, salt bridge, etc. Okay. So copper is in contact with the copper 2 plus, tin is in contact with the tin 4 plus. So in this case, copper is in contact with the copper 2 plus or copper chloride, and tin is in contact with the tin dichloride. Similarly, you can know. Okay. So how much potential it will develop, whether negative potential, positive potential, you will have to look up the standard reduction potential table. I will introduce what is standard action potential table, maybe today's class. So seeing this cell notation, one can able to see what is anode, electrode, what is anode, cathode, etc. So not just for any electrochemical cell, even for any battery system, one can write such cell notation. One can write such cell notation, including lithium ion battery, metal hydride battery, zinc carbon battery, nickel cadmium battery, zinc silver oxide battery, any battery. One can able to write such cell notations. Not only write, when you have been given, you will be able to identify the components. Okay. So by now we all know that a galvanic cell can develop positive potential, or electrochemical cell will develop positive potential. What is the origin for this cell potential? What is the origin for this cell potential? Can anyone respond? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. We'll have to go back to thermodynamics laws. So, how many thermodynamic laws are there? You have doubt? You have doubt? 3 or 4? 3 or 4 thermodynamic laws.
3 and 0 class.
3 thermodynamic laws plus 0th law. What 0th law talks about the equilibrium. A equal to B equal to C means A is equal C, equilibrium in C. That is 0th law. What is first law? Neither energy can be generated nor destroyed. It is impossible to create energy nor to destroy the energy. What is second law? It is impossible to convert one form of energy into another form 100%. What is third law? It is impossible to achieve (0° Kelvin. If so, if achieved, entropy of the system is 0. So you can remember using this prefix, it is impossible. It is impossible to create energy nor destroy the energy. First law. There are many other versions of first law. Clausius-Clapeyron statement, Gibbs statement. So such at least 3-6 versions are there for first law of thermodynamics. Second law of thermodynamics talks about the efficiency of the system. It is impossible to create or convert one form of energy into another form without loss or 100%. There is inherent loss of the efficiency. You cannot have a Carnot engine having 100% efficiency. Third law, it is impossible, talks about that. The second law talks about the entropy, and third law, so low temperature. At low temperature, entropy of the system must be is zero, but entropy of the system is never 0. We have a configurational entropy. I don't know whether you heard about it or not. Molecules are always under motion, movement, mobility. It's impossible to achieve 0° Kelvin. If achieved, entropy of the system is 0. But entropy of the system is never 0. Then it means 0° Kelvin is difficult to achieve. We have a configurational entropy. CO, NO, CO, OC. Okay. So those are all the statements. And if you translate those statements into mathematical version, these are the mathematical versions. First law talks about the internal energy. Second law talks about the entropy. Third law, it's a consequence, entropy consequence. dE equal to dQ plus dW. And the second law of thermodynamics talks about the delta S, or this entropy. dQ by T is equal to ds. dQ by T is equal to ds. So there are other versions of first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics. So then comes Gibbs function. This is internal energy, work done by absorbing heat. Okay. So this is delta G, Gibbs free energy is equal to delta H minus T delta S. I do not want to go into the details. It will be too fundamental. Usually you study in 12th standard or engineering chemistry. So what is important is, so combining all these two, so first two laws of thermodynamics. So you get the change in free energy is equal to work done electrical. Delta G or dG is equal to dW. You see that so electrical work that you can obtain from a battery is related to the free energy. So people say it is heart of the electrochemistry. Of course, free energy is very important to understand all other parameters, including electrochemistry. Okay, so you please go through these things and try to understand these. So what is important is Gibbs free energy. Delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. You substitute dQ and dE. So finally you arrive change in free energy is related to electrical work done. And we know that electrical work is nothing but charge into voltage. Electrical work is nothing but charge into voltage. How much amount of current and how much voltage at the expense of how much voltage. Charge is nothing but current, right? Coulomb, ampere second. Ampere second. Q is NF. F is Faraday's constant. N is number of electrons involved in the reaction. So substitute here, electrical work is NFE. So we have electrochemical cell or a battery. Work to be done on the battery or work can be done by the battery. What would be your response? You have a battery. We know that now, by now we know that it can deliver the positive potential. So in that case, work is done on the battery or work done by the battery?
So by the battery, sir.
By the battery. So we have three systems, three thermodynamic systems. What are they? Two fundamental, right? This looks much more fundamental than the previous semester paper, nanomaterials. We have three systems: open system, closed system, isolated system. So we have system and a surrounding. We have a battery system and it is in the environment, surrounding. Work is done by the system. So whenever work is done by the system, so it means we derive something from that system. You designate with a negative sign. So change in free energy is minus W minus electrical work. So now you replace this W by NFE. You get delta G is equal to minus NFE. This is the heart of the electrochemistry. So now we are very much connected to thermodynamics. What is N? For example, you consider this zinc oxidation in Daniel cell or voltaic cell or galvanic cell. Zinc becoming zinc 2 plus. copper 2 plus accepting 2 electrons at 1.1 voltage theoretically. And N is number of electrons involved in the electrochemical reaction. Maximum number of electrons involved in the reaction. How many? 2. Zinc releases 2 electron is consumed by copper 2 plus. F is usual meaning. E is the potential or voltage. If it is an electrode, you call it as a potential. If it is a cell, you call it as a voltage. So electrode potential or cell voltage is very much connected to the thermodynamics. Delta G. Delta G. And you see here, delta G equal to minus NFE. You can also designate if it at a standard conditions, STP, standard temperature and pressure condition, and one activity, delta G naught must be equal to minus NF E naught. So delta G is change in free energy. Delta G naught is change in free energy at standard condition. Is related to electrode potential or cell voltage. By now, we can blindfold and tell when this delta G can be negative. When the delta G can be negative or will be negative? N is constant for a reaction. It cannot be 0. It should be higher than 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Sometimes fraction also. F is a constant, Faraday constant, 96,500 coulombs or ampere second or farads. And E is the potential. These two are constant, invariable. E is the parameter. When E is positive, then only we can have delta G negative. When E is negative, delta G will be positive. We encounter electrolytic cell. Of course, E can be 0 also. In that case, delta G is 0. The reactions are said to be in the equilibrium conditions. When we have a delta G 0. So for all galvanic cells, we know that E is positive and delta G is always negative. And the reactions are spontaneous. Work is done by the battery. So when you connect your load to a battery, it does work. It delivers the work to light up the light or bulb or anything, any system, any load. So I leave it to you. So those three systems, what are those three systems? Isolated system, open system, closed system. So if you don't know, wait for 4th unit. So we will go back to thermodynamics sometimes later. We will define what is isolated system, what is open system, what is closed systems. So this equation is known as Gibbs equation. This equation is known as Gibbs equation. Gibbs free energy is related to potential. Delta G equal to minus NFE, or delta G naught is equal to minus NFE naught. I will define what is E naught later. So Gibbs equation gives the either free energy or potential of an electrode. But with one electrode, what we will do? We will not be able to do anything. You can only have a look. We will not be able to construct. We will not be able to get work done by the electrode. We need to have two electrodes to construct a cell. Whether it's going to be an electrolytic cell or electrochemical cell, that is different. You need to have two electrodes to construct a cell. It's not a great statement anyway. You need a redox couple. One will act as an anode, another one will act as a cathode. On anode, oxidation should take place and cathode reduction should take place. and they must develop positive potential if it is going to be a galvanic cell or electrochemical cell. If not, it must be a electrolytic cell. So how will you get cell potential? Electrode potential you can get. This is the electrode potential. Or if you know delta G, you will be able to get. We have some numerical problem. You will estimate very simple problems. Maybe next class. How will you get the cell potential? Cell voltage. I should not tell cell potential, cell voltage. Electrode potential is acceptable. Cell voltage. So this is another version of a Gibbs equation. Delta G equal to delta G naught plus RT ln Q. So I told you that delta G is change in free energy. Delta G naught is change in free energy at a standard condition. STP, standard STP. So STP, standard temperature and pressure. So it means 25 degree, 1 atmosphere pressure, and the concentration of the analytes or the reactants are 1 mole, 1 activity. R is universal constant 8.314 Joule Kelvin per mole. T is operating temperature of the reaction or the process or the system, and ln Q, Q is reaction coefficient, nearly equal to that of the equilibrium constant. Okay, equilibrium constant, reaction coefficient. So now we know that Gibbs equation connects delta G to cell electrode potential. So you replace delta G by minus NFE, delta G naught by minus NFE naught, because N and F are constant. You keep RT ln Q. You rearrange. Then you get final equation E is equal to E0 minus 0.0592 divided by N. How you are getting this 0.0592? So RT 8.314 at room temperature and F altogether it will be 0.0592 log, natural logarithm to this natural logarithm, convert into natural logarithm, ln to log. So this E is the cell voltage at any condition, and E0 is the standard cell potential. Cell voltage at any condition, cell voltage at a standard condition. There is some standard for potentials. We will talk about later. Like a standard free energy change, we have a standard electrode potential or standard cell potential. And this E is cell potential at any condition. Need not be STP or need not be at 1 mole. It can be 10 mole or 0.1 mole of analytes or reactant or anode cathode, electrolyte, which will come here. It will come here. Okay. So this equation is known as Nernst equation, a famous equation, fundamental equation, which gives the cell potential at any condition, whether it is a lithium-ion battery or fuel cell or any other electrochemical device, or even lambda cell, lambda sensor, not lambda cell, lambda sensor. What is lambda sensor? Which is used in automobile as a air fuel ratio monitoring device or sensor. Platinum, YSE, platinum. One electrode is exposed to air, another electrode is exposed to 5 volume percentage of oxygen. This oxygen partial pressure difference builds the potential, which monitors the oxygen concentration in the internal combustion engine. It's a purely electrochemical device, lambda sensor, air fuel ratio monitoring sensor. So concentration of the analyte will determine the cell voltage. Very much. All fuel cells and lead acid battery. Concentration of the sulfuric acid determine the cell voltage in lead acid battery. You believe it or not. Concentration of the electrolyte highly dependent or highly contributing to the cell voltage of lead acid battery or Geston battery. So it's continue to rule the market, battery market. Last 150 years it is on the road. or on the market. Different directions have taken lead acid battery. And the very electrolyte used is sulfuric acid. The concentration of the sulfuric acid will determine the cell voltage, not only OCV and the working potential. So that can be obtained by this equation, Gibbs free energy, Nernst equation. Okay. So now you take one anode and one cathode. No, I should say you take two electrodes or redox system, a redox system, maybe a zinc immersed in zinc, copper immersed in copper, connect through a salt bridge or membrane or a separator, close the circuit, you'll be able to read the cell potential if it is connected to the voltmeter or voltage sensor. Or if you connect to loads which is suitable to have this 1.1 voltage, it will start functioning. It is automatic. The reactions are spontaneous. What reactions? Zinc becoming zinc 2 plus, copper 2 plus becoming copper 2 plus. You don't have to do anything. You will have to just close the circuit. Connect the terminal compartment, close the circuit. Automatically, redox reaction taking place, delivering a cell voltage of 1.1. Whether it is reversible, irreversible, primary, secondary, that is different. And it is a battery, you believe it or not. This voltaic cell or galvanic cell is a battery because it delivers the positive potential, and it's basically electrochemical cell. So this is how the cell voltage 1.1 is developed in voltaic cell or the basic electrochemical cell consisting of zinc and copper systems. The standard reduction potential of zinc 2 plus to zinc is 0.761 voltage, or its opposite, standard oxidation potential is minus 0.761 voltage. Then the standard reduction potential of copper 2 plus to copper is 0.341 voltage. When you combine together with your suitable electrolyte, separator, salt bridge, and connect the circuit, you see that this potential rises and this potential comes down in such a way that a open circuit voltage of 1.1 is arrived, or stable 1.1 voltage is reached, and it is known as OCV or OCP. OCV or OCP. So low potential, it rises. High potential reduces in such a way that they are at some point, and that point is known as OCV, corresponding to 1.1 voltage, and it is a battery. Zinc undergoes oxidation, copper 2 plus undergoes reduction. So this is behaving as an anode, this behaves as a cathode, and there is a movement of ions, and there is a movement transfer of electron, and the circuit is completed, and you get a typical electrochemical cell or battery. This is how the cell voltage 1.1 is arrived. Like this, it is possible to arrive for lithium-ion battery, lead acid battery, nickel cadmium battery, zinc silver oxide battery, zinc carbon battery, or lithium air battery, lithium ion battery, sodium sulfur battery, lithium sulfur battery, or any battery which is on the market or on the technologies. How will you get these potential 0.761 or 0.341? How will you get? What they refer to? They all refer to standard reduction potentials, and it is grouped in the form of a table, though it doesn't look like a table, but it is called as a standard reduction potential table, whether you accept it or not. And this is a partial standard reduction potential table. What it gives? All the known electrode and their reactions were studied to understand at what potential they are undergoing reduction has been estimated theoretically by taking the standard of hydrogen reduction, keeping zero voltage. H plus reducing to hydrogen occurs at zero voltage. This is arbitrarily theoretically taken. All other electrode potentials and the reduction potentials are arranged or made with respect to this potential. You see that some are negative, some are positive, and this is partial only. If you see the full table, it runs into pages, several pages. You should see the Delahaye book runs into pages, 10-15 pages. So many electrodes are available, and their standard reduction potentials were already theoretically arrived by taking hydrogen oxidation or reduction as zero potential. Some are negative, some are positive. And you notice that all are reduction reactions. All are reduction reactions. All are reduction potentials. Fluorine becoming fluoride. Copper 3 plus reducing to copper 2 plus. Sorry, cobalt, excuse me. Cobalt 3 plus is reduced to cobalt 2 plus. Gold, Rm, Au plus is reduced to Rm. Cesium plus is reduced to cesium. Lithium plus is reduced to lithium metal. So hydrogen oxidation or reduction taking place, hydrogen oxidation or H plus reduction is arbitrarily taken as zero voltage. So we will take few minutes and identify which reaction will be thermodynamically feasible from this table. Use this Gibbs equation. Use this Gibbs equation. You have been given partial standard reduction potential table. Identify which electrode reaction will be spontaneous, which may not be. Take 1 or 2 minutes, identify which reaction or the electrode reaction can be thermodynamically feasible or spontaneous, which may not be. Use this Gibbs equation. Delta G equal to minus N of E. I told you that you can put delta G naught minus N of E naught at the standard conditions. Identify which electrode reaction is spontaneous, which are not spontaneous.
Delta E negative, so E should be positive, the positive one.
Yeah, so the clue is to get delta G, E must be positive. All the electrodes before hydrogen or the electrode reduction reactions associated with the positive potential will all generate or will have negative free energy change. All electrodes below this zero or hydrogen or all electrodes having negative reduction potential, their reactions are not spontaneous. You see that lithium plus becoming lithium is not spontaneous, whereas fluorine becoming fluoride is highly spontaneous because the electrode potential is 2.7 plus 2.7. If you substitute here, delta G will be highly negative. But if you substitute minus 3.05, delta G is highly positive. So it means, so thermodynamically, forming fluoride is spontaneous. Forming lithium ion is spontaneous. Lithium metal is not spontaneous. That's what it means. It's very simple. So given an electrode, you'll be able to identify whether the reaction will occur or not by knowing this potential or potential. So then if you combine fluoride with another electrode, if the cell potential is positive, so then the delta G will be negative. In principle, it can be a galvanic cell. If the reactions are reversible, and it can be a rechargeable battery. If not, it can be a primary battery. Isn't it? Yes. So please note that these are all reduction potential. These are all reduction potentials. So when we have a reduction, there is an opposite, oxidation also. The reduction potential of fluoride system electrode is plus 2.7 and its oxidation potential is minus 2.87. Only sign is different. Okay. So these are all electrode potential. How will you get the cell potential, cell voltage? How will you get the cell voltage? From the electrodes. We know that to construct a cell, we require two electrodes. One will act as an anode, another will act as a cathode. Anode oxidation should take place, or on anode oxidation should take place. Cathode, it should undergo reduction, or on cathode reduction should take place. How will you get the cell voltage? So there are three modes of getting the cell voltage. So I suggest you to keep at least one. Remember one, any one of these mode. So the first mode is to get the cell voltage. You subtract the reduction potential of anode from that of the cathode. If you are considering both electrode potentials, reduction potentials. These are all reduction potentials. For example, if you want to construct a battery, fluoride and maybe cesium, or gold and zinc, okay? If you want to see the cell voltage of the resultant cell voltage, if you are considering the reduction potentials of both the electrodes, you will have to subtract reduction potential of anode from that of the cathode. Or cell voltage of potential of left electrode should be subtracted from the right electrode. Cell notation. Or when you are considering the oxidation potentials of both the electrodes, opposite sign of these. These are a reduction potential. I am repeating again. Okay, some are having positive, some are having negative. When you want to consider, you have to only reverse the sign. Wherever you have a positive, replace with the negative. Wherever you have a negative, you replace with the positive. That is the oxidation potential. In that case, you will have to do the reverse. You have to subtract the oxidation potential of cathode or the positive electrode or right electrode from that of the anode or from the left electrode. You get the cell voltage. Or the third mode is you consider the oxidation potential of anode and the reduction potential of cathode and you add them. There is no worry about from which electrode you have to subtract what. You can simply add. So what you have to do, you have to carefully consider oxidation potential of anode. Because where the oxidation is taking place, anode is where oxidation is taking place. You identify the electrode, which is anode. Then go back to the standard reduction potential table and reverse the sign. That is oxidation potential. Then you can take as such reduction potential of a cathode. Anyway, electrode potentials are given as a reduction potential. Cathode where the reduction taking place, you are going to take as such. Then you add them together. Anode potential, cathode potential, you add them together and you get a cell voltage. Right electrode, left electrode, you add them together, you get the cell voltage. So I suggest this mode is easy, or I follow this mode. It is up to you to follow any one of these three. In all three cases, if you work out, the cell voltage of any particular cell will be same, identical. Either you consider reduction potential of both the electrodes or the opposite, oxidation potential of both the electrodes or oxidation potential of anode or reduction under reduction potential of cathode, you get the cell voltage. Electrode potential is different, cell voltage is different. We will spend 1 or 2 minutes, identify at least 2 electrodes. You require 2 electrodes to construct a cell, and identify which can be anode, which can be cathode, to construct a galvanic cell. And identify the cell voltage, the resultant cell voltage. So I will stop now. So if you want to add anything, you can do so, or make some comments, clarifications, additions, suggestions. We'll continue in the next class.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, in oxidation or reduction, the chemical reactions should be same, right, sir?
Yes, the reactions. So if you are talking about an electrode, oxidation is reverse of reduction.
Okay, sir. So only the value will be positive or negative in for
Only the
both case,
magnitude,
but
the
chemical
sign is
reaction will be
different. The sign is different. In
Okay.
the standard reduction potential, so it is given reduction potential. I should tell that the whole world uses reduction potentials. Americans use oxidation potential. Okay, the
Okay.
whole world considers reduction reaction. American consider oxidation potential, oxidation reaction. So for a given electrode, the reaction is same. Whether it is oxidation reduction, only the sign is different. Magnitude is same. Zinc 2 plus, zinc becoming zinc 2 plus is oxidation, occurs at some oxidation potential. So zinc 2 plus becoming zinc is reduction.